today we're going to make a Valentine's Day gift for Cal. You're probably going to see this video after Valentine's Day now, because it's a present and surprise anyway, so I don't want to spoil that for him. Basically, I sort of told him that he can pick a present, and he picked this neon light from a website. Can't remember the website, but I will find it and I will pop that here. So basically, they do like figurines from movies like Iron Man and all that sort of things. So Cal's favorite, one of his favorite cartoon series, or whatever you want to actually call it, is this crazy scientist guy, this Rick and Morty thingy. I actually haven't seen it. I tried to watch one episode, but it was really not for me. So whoever watching this video and you like this, I'm sorry. So yes, in my previous video you also saw that I made, I think he was Morty from an air clay, but now I'm going to make the other one, which is Rick or Ricky, no, Rick and Morty. Yeah, so he's Rick. Yeah, so I'm gonna make the grandpa, if I remember right, of neon light strips. So basically he picked this neon light from this website, and it was like crazy how expensive it was. And probably, and now I understand, because when I was watching videos how they actually make these, the amount of time and where it goes into it, and detailing, I understand why they're charging so much money for it. But it's also crazy that it's almost reaching the £1,000 value for one light. I mean, I understand the size is quite a big as well, like a medium size, like I think is this big, but still it's crazy. So I was like, no. Well, okay, no. We're going to try to DIY this and do it ourselves. So I ordered this neon strip light from Amazon. I didn't read the description properly, so I realized it didn't actually came with an adapter, so I had to order that separately. To calculate what adapter you need, it's quite easy, so I will pop that right here. So also where he's placing this light in the gaming room, which is in the cellar, I haven't actually shown you guys that yet because it's not fully finished, but I will share that very soon. What we done there and how it actually looks, but the decoration is not there yet. Like, I'm making this as well for the wall, so it's not gonna be a see-through acrylic one, because I was thinking where he actually going to plug this in is literally right behind the light. So if it would be see-through, all you would see through this actually acrylic sheet is the plug and the socket itself. So I was like, that's not gonna look pretty. So we're going to make this light onto a plywood. I printed everything out for it, and I will also explain how I did that to make this right size. So we're making the exact size that actually was quoted for £1,000. So we're trying to make this Ricky dude out of this neon strip light that I'm going to solder together. So I got this amazing kit from Amazon. I mean, it looks very fancy for like £20. It has a lot of things I have no idea what to use for, but I did watch quite a lot of videos, so everything should be in right here how to do this DIY. So hoping I can actually input that and do it. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because this is definitely pushing the boundaries of my comfort zone. This is something that I not really done before. I feel confident, like 80% I can do this. So hoping for the best, I really do. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna put everything in the description box below what I'm using today. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys everything close to see what's the materials we are actually working with today. The only thing is, the original light you could pick in different colors. So there was like a multicolor, there was green, blue, yellow and all that. So I was thinking what's gonna actually look really, really nice on this very, very blue walls. So I was picking either the orange, yellow or green, but I sort of showed Cal. I didn't tell him that I'm going to make this, but I just showed him on the website that which one do you like, and he picked the green. So I was like, oh, I wanted the orange, but yeah, he picked the green, so we're going with green, full on green, and we will see how this is going to work out. But yeah, fingers crossed, guys. Right, guys, let's jump into this project, hoping for the best. This is actually the first time I have a doubt to make something, so yeah, this is, like I said, it is pushing the brownies. So what I'm doing here is, you can see the actually pictures that I printed out. So this is the face we're going to make. We're not actually making the entire picture that you can see in front of us. So we're not making the neck and the t-shirt area, we're just making the head, as Cal wanted only a head. So basically that's what we're gonna do. As you can see, I broke up the entire picture into pieces. So what I did here, I using 4A pages. So I just went on to Canva, I actually picked a size, then basically I pasted this picture that I found online of this, I think this is the Rick, right? This guy, and then I just broke that into 4 different pieces, and each time I just put a white sheet over them basically, and whatever was left over I printed that out, and after I moved the sheet over to the next one, and then I printed that out again. So that's how we actually managed to get this size. The next step was, I actually got my drill and I started making little holes through this picture. So basically I just tried to follow how the light actually going to be placed over this entire face. I think I might have drilled more than I actually needed, but like I said, this was the very, very first time I made something like this, so I was just making sure that I have enough holes to place those wires through. So if you're wondering why on earth this little guy has some tea on his face, is because, as you can see right there, my Starbucks cup is literally poured all over the place, but anyway, we didn't need this anymore, luckily. So yeah, let's back on focus on the project. So what I'm doing here is, now I'm removing this sheet from the top of the plywood, and I'm trying to connect those lines together to actually draw the face onto the plywood to see what is going on basically for our next step. So once I actually drew these outlines, I realized, holy moly, okay, I actually need to pin this. So I said goodbye straight away for my drawing. Like I said to you guys, this is the first time I'm doing something like this. As you can see, I had no clue what I was doing. So I did a lot of steps that now I know that I shouldn't have. But I was just so into this whole thing to get over and done with, and to see if I can actually do this, that I was not thinking at all that, oh wait a second, I will have to actually paint this entire board. So yeah, make sure you do this first and then draw the entire thing on it. And as usual, I was using my favorite chalk paint from Anis Luan. It's called the NTM Black. So what we learned so far, guys, is to make sure you do have a plan before you actually jump into any project. Otherwise you're gonna be just ending up adding a lot of extra works for yourself, and you're gonna end up crying for 3 days. Yeah, this is how long it took me to do this video, 3 days, is because I added a lot of extra work instead of just planning the entire thing. So once I painted entire plywood, as you can see it, I started from step 2 again, drawing the lines.
6, like they say, I can't be fixed. 1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need.
So this is where all the electrical part and the fun begins with this entire light. So this is the soldering kit, as you can see it, that I mentioned earlier from Amazon. I could not recommend enough. This kit is amazing. All the things that you have there is just absolutely perfect for any sort of lighting or little DIYs, so it is such a handy toolkit to have. I was just looking around why I actually got inside, because half of the stuff I didn't even know. Now I know, so we learned definitely something from this project as well. Tools I was using mainly in this part of the video, in my hand, that yellow thing is called the wire stripper. So basically what you do with that is you strip the plastic thing off the copper wiring, so the copper part of the wire is showing, and that's going to be the part that you're going to solder together basically onto the lights to make sure they work. The next tools I was using, obviously a cutter, then we have the soldering iron, then you need for the soldering iron some iron, obviously, so in that blue pump right there at the bottom. Then I was using some soldering paste, and I think that's all. So what I learned, and that I definitely can recommend not to do, is, as you can see it, I'm trying to prepare the wires for my project, which would be very handy, but I did not realize that I will need quite a long wiring and not as short as I was cutting it here. So it does depends obviously of your project, but I would definitely recommend using longer wires than what I actually made right here. So right now you can see my LED light strips. So this is the one we're going to use. So what you need to do is to open up basically that plastic covering on top of the light strips, so them little circuits, they're going to be visible. There's 2 little dots, one is for neutral and one is for the live circuit, so those needs to be visible. So this is the part where I actually thought I'm going to fail. I felt like this is going to my first big fail of as a DIYer, because like I said to you guys, I was so insecure about what I was doing. I really never done anything similar like this. I do know how to wire lamp and stuff like that, but this was completely out of my comfort zone. So this is where it all went downhill. So the soldering is very easy. I wouldn't say it's a difficult thing at all. The only thing is I was doing a lot of extra work. So honestly, I could call this video what not to do when you're doing a neon light. And I was really thinking to redo this entire thing. But I was like, okay, let's just finish it what we start. We can definitely save this day and just show you guys what I actually did the first time, because things like this do happen, especially if you do it first time on your own. So what I was doing, soldering. So as you can see, the soldering iron, the tool is actually in my hand. Then I'm using the wires and that pump, that blue little thing that actually contains the iron that you need to solder with, and the paste. So that's the 3 things you basically do need when you solder, and obviously you're adding the wires just to make sure you're following those. So I was doing everything right up until that point. I did not realize when you cut a LED light strip, you only need to do this on one part. So when you cut the strip off, the other end doesn't need to be soldered and opened up, only one. And I was just like not thinking at all. I watched so many videos and I was really not thinking. So each of these strips that I cut, I did this on both ends, which is a lot of work for nothing. Like I said to you guys, this DIY actually took me 3 days just because I did not have a plan. So I was just going by the flow and I doing everything how I was thinking it was right, instead of actually sit down and thinking it through. So I ended up creating all the strips in advance. So I was soldering, cutting, then I was ready to glue on everything. So this was for a whole lot of reason not to do that, because it just wasted me quite a lot of time. Probably I could have done this video just in an afternoon if I was following everything right. So guys, just one more time, when you cut, so basically when you cut an extra LED strip, you do not need to do the soldering on both ends like I was doing it right here. This is going to be a really fun part. So I'm using a Mitrabond glue, which is super cool. So actually using a glue and a spray. So the glue doesn't activate until you actually spray it. Once you spray the glue, it's going to be super strong and creates a very strong bond on your actually surface. So it's just perfect for this type of DIY. So let's just summarize what I have actually learned from this project. So in the first part, when I was actually drawing onto the plywood, that was a no-no. So what I should have done is painted the plywood in the very first time. Once I painted the plywood, draw the actually picture on it, so have the face drawn onto it. Then I should have drilled after that is painted and drawn. Once I have that, then just cut the LED strip lights and only solder them on one side, so I'm not playing with two and not wasting with 2 days. Then basically glue how I'm doing it right here, but it would have been so much neater if I only soldered on one side. So that's what we learned, what not to do and what to do to actually follow the neon strip light DIY easily. I always been a very impatient person, and I always been very strict as well, especially with myself. So seeing this, that I was wasting a lot of time, I sort of felt like I'm failing, and every single time I came back to the garage after a cup of tea, I was like, I don't want to do this, I want to give up and everything. But I also was like, I want to show you guys that this does actually happen. As you can see me going through all these light strips that it took me like a good day just to do on both ends, which I still cannot believe that I did. So don't do that. But now that I think back, it was also been a huge thing that I went through. I know it was just a DIY project, but it's also been more for me because it actually was testing my patience. And I also learned that, okay, Delilah, it is fine to make mistakes, you're going to make more, just correct it and keep going on. So literally that's all it was in my head when I was doing this entire project. And yay, just to add it all up, look at the back of my board. There is a lot of extra wires for no reason. So yeah, it would have been half of those wires if I did everything right. This was the part where I actually felt a tiny bit more calm, and I was like, okay, this actually looks like it's going to work. Then I started cutting the board. I honestly thought that, oh my god, I'm going to cut into the actual light and it's all for nothing. So yet again, something to remember, cut the board before you actually place the lights on them. What on earth was I thinking, right?
Duro, 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 pam, pam. Suri no queda al que se imprime round. Duro, 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 pam, pam. Pero le gusta lo malo, lo underground. Duro, 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 pam, pam. Siempre estamos.
I'm pretty sure you have the same thoughts what I had. Oh my god, this is why I was suffering for 3 days. This looks absolutely rubbish. So the glue, obviously when you glue the strip light, especially on a black surface, it will show. So the next step is to correct my mistakes. So yeah, now back to painting yet again. As you can see guys, I am in my kitchen. So I used the Only Slow and Chalk Bake Antium Black. And just went through bits and bobs yet again because of the glue as it was drying. So we got this beautiful multi-place, or Rick, or which one is this one? So we painted the sides as well to make sure it's nice. So it's drying right now. I'm doing it here because the garage is extremely cold. So yeah, we are done with this. So now once it's dried, I'm just gonna organize the back of it. Once the back is done, we can actually glue a hook and I put it on the wall and it's gonna be nice and pretty. I double checked it. I actually have the supply right here just to make sure I didn't get any wetness inside the connections, and yeah, it still works. So very happy with that. And let's leave that to dry and we can carry on, and finally this is over.
You know I was born to grind. It's for my people standing up until they back hurt. It's for my people standing up to get the cash, sir. My minimum wage isn't on my cash clears.